This is Lady Anaconda, and I just want to make it clear the truth coming from my lips, how passionately I advocate for betas to accept their natural place, understand they'll never be able to please a woman. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This is episode 1 of Racey with Lady Anaconda, and I just felt it was the most appropriate to start everything off with 2 incredible queens here that, know everything about the world of Raceplay and how to use it to their advantage. And I would love them both to introduce themselves. Madam Indigo, if you wouldn't mind, please tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, I am YourMadamIndigo. My honorifics is Empress, Master, or Madam. I am originally from the DMV area, but have been living here in Albania for about 3 years. So I travel back and forth from here to Europe to the States, mostly cam modeling and what is it called? In-person sessions.
Nice.
And I've been in kink and BDSM for about like 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Nice, nice. And Saint Sarah, please, if you would, as if they don't know.
I am Sara, and that's the monarch being so rough around the edges, boy and woman, and in Las let's give these West Coast subs a taste of it. And I've been in kink since 2013, 2012, but specifically in BNWO and Raceplay. I mean, it's a lifestyle to me, always has been a lifestyle, but didn't quite find the community or build the community until maybe 6 years ago. About 6 years ago, specifically now exclusively BNWO and Raceplay. So that is and I'm also known as mainstream porn star Go Fuck Me since 2013 too. So I've been into sex work and kink and all that for over 10 years now. Ooh, 10 years. Yep.
You're like, it sounds like a long time saying it out loud, right?
And 12 years technically. So yeah.
No, I love that you both have experience both online and in person, having those interactions with different submissives and I'm sure other dominants as well, who also are interested in that. Because I definitely just want to get a little bit of a feel. I guess I should do a definition. We are here partially to talk about Raceplay and how Raceplay interacts in these spaces of kink, of BDSM, online domination, in-person domination, and even, our own personal lives, any type of role play, sexy, kinky lifestyle that we have on our own. But, Raceplay is typically, a role play. It brings, some racist stereotypes into it. And I know for myself, for a long time, I always kind of saw it as like a negative thing. And I've loved to see the growth of the blacknewworldorder.com, to see it as this very empowering thing. So I don't know if, Saint Sarah, if you wanted to just talk a little bit about what you, like, what made you really know that you needed to start the blacknewworldorder.com?
So, Black New World Order has been around longer than we've been alive. It's old thing. I like to call it a belief system, kind of like we're not a religion, but kind of like religion, right? Like Christianity. You can't really stake a claim to that, right? The only thing that I did is I like to say I built the first in-person church of BNWO, right? The first real community of BNWO. And it was important when I found Raceplay that the people that were, like you said, Raceplay, it could be playing on stereotypes and stigmas or even fetishization of a race. But it was important for me because there's nothing wrong with what gets you off. But if it comes to Black supremacy, the ones that should be benefiting from that racial dynamic, that relationship should be the Black superior.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that BNWO, everyone that I was introduced to within BNWO, you were one of the first people as a QoS that I was ever introduced to that participated in Raceplay, right? It never came from the Black man's point of view other than being a meat stick as a bull,
Mm-hmm.
or a white woman.
Right.
So I said, no. If we're talking about a Black supremacy fetish, kink, or dynamic, then the Black person should benefit, should be the main one benefiting from this dynamic. So therefore, the community just had to change. And the first thing that I knew that had to happen was I had to bring Black women into the fold. Because all about Black men, it was all about the white woman, and then you have the little white guy sitting in the corner, right, getting his little rocks off. No Black women voices were really out there. And the Black women voices that did participate in Raceplay were literally Black QoS. And the fact that I had to put Black QoS in, you know, in front of their name, I was like, this isn't something that when you think of QoS, she identifies with. She has to make it known I'm a Black QoS, right? So why not just be BNWO? Right. Why not BNWO just describe all Black superiors? Gay, straight, male, female, trans, non-binary, anything that is superior and that is Black. And that's how the community pretty much went. And I'm going to tell you very quickly, the community grew. Like, came out there when I first put out BNWO in the community in the blacknewworldorder.com. The first comment I ever got was, oh my God, I cannot believe Saint Sara is QoS. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm like, not QoS, right?
Right.
BNWO. And once I rolled with that, it was like a snowball. When I started reaching out to Black queens, Black QoSs, you know, it was just like, yes, I didn't even know that BNWO was me. Like I could even be that, you know? And then that opened up to a whole new community of women that I saw putting BNWO in their bio, you know, whether it was before me or after the community, you know, okay, now I need to meet these women and bring them into the community. So that's really just kind of, you know, how it went, because I know QoS didn't necessarily describe me. And I'm not gonna, you know, I didn't want to be another minority in another kink space where Black women are the minority, right? So, you know, it was that was the goal. And because of queens like YourMadamIndigo, it took off. Like seriously, not even just because of me, these queens like took it, and now it's like 50-50 in the community. Black men and Black women, oh, they're fucking and then the Black trans feminine community, oh, they jumped in too. And it was like, yes, you know, so, and that was the goal.
Right. Everyone was just looking for that space where they could, you know, be together in that mindset. I love that. Madam Indigo, could you tell me a little bit about how you know, I mean, not just how you joined the blacknewworldorder.com, but kind of how Raceplay factored into your lifestyle as a content creator, as a sex worker, and how you kind of brought you to it?
When I first started camming, they would white subs will come in my room and they'll say BNWO, and I would be like, what is that? And so when we would go private to actually do the role play, it was more on them using the NIGR on me. And I was like, oh, no, let me do some research. What does this mean?
Yeah.
When I looked into it, and it was more of like Black supremacy and how the white race is here to pay reparations, whether that's physically or financially. I was like, oh no. You know, they have this all mixed up. And when I started to do even more research on it, I didn't see any Black men's supremacy or Black women's supremacy. I've only just seen white cucks with black bulls and white women, and the white women is saying, "Oh, you know, like I'm not gonna fuck you. You know, I'd rather, you know, can I curse? Can I curse?
Yeah, I got no problem with cursing. I want you to flow naturally. Absolutely. Go for it.
Yeah, it was just like, what's it called? White women being being fucked by black men, and then the white guy is just the cuck. And I didn't see how, like, how is this Black New World Order until I got on FetLife. And FetLife, the subs were coming to me as like, I surrender, you know, here's financial reparations, use me as reparations, let me be your slave, dispose of me. And that's when I got the education of Black is power. And these white submissives are here to be the ground that we walk on.
Yes. Yes.
What else? It was just in the beginning for me, it was just like really confusing because I didn't see any, I still don't really, I still do, but I didn't see a lot of just like Black power supremacy. It's just all about like the Black bull and the white cuck. Um, so, and
Yeah.
lifestyle, and in my sex work career, it's all in one. Like BNWO is my lifestyle. So the same way that I approach these subs online, it's the same way that I do in my vanilla life, but just not as harsh. You know what I mean? Because they're not paying
Right.
for service or anything. But yeah, if you want to speak to me, you need to come with respect, come with honor, and know that it's not average over here, you know?
Yeah. I think that is just such a crazy thing that these white subs, for so long they're trying to make something that you're literally saying the term Black supremacy and still trying to make it a white centric space. And again, like, the cuckolding lifestyle, that's its own thing. Like, you can't just try and act like that's Black supremacy
Mm-hmm.
because, and especially how you're behaving as a cuck in those scenes toward that Black man, like, you might not be respectful toward him at all. So how dare you try and label it as a BNWO
Or they'll
experience?
come to me and say, you know, I'm here to serve you, madam, but you're here to just serve me by like you wanting to eat Black pussy. You
Right.
wanting, you know, to can you force your body on me and deny me at the same time? What? Why would I want to? Why would I want to have sex with a white
Mm-hmm.
submissive when you know, like I have my bull, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or I can use you in so many different ways than sexually because you don't deserve to touch me or to smell me. You know what I mean? So it was a bit confusing until I started to get educated, and then I found the community of BNWO. And when I joined Sunday service, I was like, yeah, you know, this is what this is about, you know, and
It's changing the
show
narrative. It wasn't originally our narrative that we controlled. So all of this work right now, when I say like building this community, building this church, it's really ground level. We're the first ones to take a narrative that's been around for so long and change it, from being, I can't even say that it's white centric, it's white male centric, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about that little dicklet, right? That little clitlet that they
Yeah.
have, even with their wives. It's even with their wives. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's it takes a lot, and it took a community, and it's still taking the community, and it's taking queens like your Madam Indigo, and it's taking enforcers, and just to clarify that in BNWO, a QoS like Lady Anaconda is considered an enforcer. So
Mm-hmm.
taking an enforcer like Lady Anaconda to really change that fucking narrative, from both sides, right?
Yeah, because they definitely, like you said, these little white subs with their little white dicklets, they really try to use women online as kink dispensers, and they will try to masquerade as submissives. And you can tell right away, like, okay, you're pretending to come to me with respect. You're pretending to come to me submissively, but you're just trying to use me as a vehicle for getting what you want. You're not actually here to find out, what do I like? What will please me? What will satisfy me? How can you behave in a way that actually makes me feel respected and honored and appreciated? And I don't think there's enough conversation about the fact that a lot of these guys have a race trader fetish when it comes to white women. They're obsessed with this idea of these white women, these QOS being race traders, but they'll just call it BNWO. And it's like, again, have you ever had a conversation with a black dominant, male, female, trans, either way, it's not, you're not serving BNWO if you're serving a white goddess, whether she calls herself a QOS or not, because we already know plenty of women have never even dated a black man before, but they can hold up a black toy, a black dildo, and try and claim, I'm a QOS. BNWO. Look at the QOS spade temporary tattoo on my butt. Like, what is that?
I think that they are submissive, but you know what stops them from truly being submissive in person? They're pussy. They are afraid of black people.
Mm-hmm.
You said that they are afraid?
The white submissive, male or female. So the white female that Lady A is talking about, that holds up a black toy, that'll fuck a black guy but has a white husband, never really has dated or interacted with black people, black women, black men, and the white male submissive who gets his wife to approach a bull, just pays him to get his fucking rocks off, right? To sit there in a corner and whatever, right? To be honest, it is still them, subscribing to, right? But they're subscribing to the narrative of what America has taught them, what black men and women are, right? So I kind of don't get upset with them, because think about how long the narrative has been the cuck and bull, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hot wife, cuck and bull dynamic, right? So we come in, we let them know, and it's more so that the physical action of it doesn't really change, right? It doesn't really change, right? Mm-hmm. Black man comes in, fucks the shit out of a white woman, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. She may say, he might be pussy free. The cuck might be pussy free. Mm-hmm. Whatever the wife is doing, right? The action doesn't change. What we're saying is the mentality, the dynamic, the intention of it has changed. And that scares the shit out of white men, right? It scares the shit out of white women, right? Mm-hmm. Because, where are you? And I believe that every black man and every black woman has the potential to be dominant in a BNWO way, right? But mm-hmm. is, Jeffrey gonna go into the hood and find Jaquan? No, because he subscribes to the narrative that black men are aggressive. Mm-hmm. The white woman too. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? That they're scary, right? That they're gonna get beat up, they're gonna get robbed, they're gonna get thing with a black woman. No, I always say it in Sunday service. People laugh about it, but I'm fucking serious. These can I say racial slurs or no?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what to do, please. Whatever, you know what I mean? For real.
Because I want it to be out there. I just don't want it to be, you can bleep mm-hmm. it, I guess. But, it's like, these crackers are looking for a real black experience in Starbucks. You ain't going to come to me at motherfucking Starbucks. That's where you find Lululemon with cat hair on it. Mm-hmm. Like, they're looking for a black experience everywhere but black places, because they're to come into black spaces. Right. Now, there are some submissives that do subscribe, that do believe in BNWO. I have a trans feminine live-in submissive that I took to a ball, a Vogue black, that's black history right there, mm-hmm. And with black history, white women don't vogue. White gays don't vogue. They don't do runway. They're not supposed to. New age, they letting them the fuck kind of in, but that's not how it is. And I said, listen, you're feminizing, right? You need a black queen. Mm-hmm. Feminize you. You need to go to the black ball. We had a BNWO ball. You need to go to the black ball with me. And she goes, I always wanted to. I'd love to. But those are spaces, especially the black gay community, that I need to be invited into. Which is true. Okay. So therefore, she was able to come with me, and then was embraced by the Black trans community. You get what I'm saying? But most of them, they're fucking pussy. Most of these white women have a stigma. They love the Black dick, but let's be for real, they don't really understand, educate themselves, want to really know about the Black man. So therefore, other than the Black dick, they don't know what's valuable about having a Black man. Remember, white man has good credit score, so she's gonna marry herself a white man, and she's gonna fuck herself a Black man.
Yeah.
And that right there is, you know, a big part of the BNWO community also is showing that it doesn't just look like the Black woman you could approach doesn't always just dress in leather and have a fucking whip. She looks like your Madam Indigo.
And be mean and be like aggressive.
Right.
You know?
Right.
The angry Black woman. Yeah.
Look, they could look like Sexy Red. Motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Like a BNWO queen could look like Sexy Red, talk like that, dress like that, have a baby dad, have kids, make an album, doesn't necessarily dress in leather and have a motherfucking whip, could look like your Madam Indigo, could be affluent, articulate, educated, read, you get what I'm saying? Not just in anime, nerdy motherfucking way, not just manga, you get what I'm saying? It could I sound like Cardi B because I'm Puerto Rican and from New York, could sound like me, doesn't necessarily have all that ooh la 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 la, you know, talk and baby and all that European shit going on, you know. If they are too afraid to open up their minds, open up their eyes, and see that they could really get this BNWO lifestyle, and it doesn't have to look like the European white woman, black leather boots, latex outfit, whip in hand, talking shit, leash and collar. It could look like my fucking Black king. It could look like Goldie with motherfucking tin boots on, Balenciaga sneakers, skinny jeans, fucking gold chains, gold teeth, and he'll whoop your ass and run a gay ass cracker all around this bitch. You get what I'm saying? So but that's Black culture. But they have so scared away from Black culture, and BNWO as a community and the Black New World Order.com is a place where they can find vetted, actually registered BNWO Black supremacists, Black superiors, king, queens, trans, gay, whatever, that this is not anything new. They don't want to get beat up going into Compton trying to find one. Go to the BlackNewWorldOrder.com. You will find and you will see what Black supremacy really fucking looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, our Sunday service, you know, and any one of our BNWO sanctioned communities, they can approach and they don't have to worry about all that. But that's really, they really do want to be submissive, because anytime a white man is afraid of something, he wants to get fucked by it.
Yeah, right.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
He's afraid of Black men, you know, he's afraid of them. Systemically, they have put in systems to keep a Black man in a place where they could digest and not be afraid of him, to separate themselves. But yet you're sitting in a neighborhood far from the Black people that you're afraid of, still dreaming about sucking Black dick.
Yeah.
They want to get fucked by anything they're afraid of.
That's such a good point. It is like frustrating though, especially like coming on that these white male submissives, again, I 1000% agree with you that they are submissive, but they're so afraid to actually relinquish control, right? So either they're, you know, a cuck husband and they're, no matter what role play is going on, they're in charge of their wife, you know, and that wife, whatever money she's making online, talking about Black supremacy this, Black men that, Black dick this, she's paying that white man's bills with that money. That money is benefiting a white male. And, you know, one of the things that you always like annoyed me, especially in the beginning, was exactly what you're saying about how these white male submissives are, you know, they're brainwashed and they want to see all Black men as aggressive. And I constantly get that. I want a Black thug master. I want a Black thug master to beat me up. And I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, you want to be in control of it. Like you know, you want it only within these parameters, and you want to paint this Black man as this, and you want him to do this to you, but you want to be in full control of that dynamic rather than actually, you know, true BDSM, where it's like you are trusting your dominant to know what's best. You are literally relinquishing control. There may be, you know, these are my hard limits, these are my safe words, but you are not in control of the scene. You are not in control of, you know, the playtime by any means, or let alone the full-on lifestyle of truly trying to live out being submissive to what you recognize as a very obvious truth of Black supremacy. Like I just was talking about on TikTok the other day, it's like our country wants to be absolutely obsessed with Blackness and all that Blackness is and has created and contributed, but also wants to fully control it and be in control of commodifying it too. And I just think it's absolutely fantastic, you know, the work that the two of you are doing to build up this community and have your own brands where you are 100% in control of how you know, utilize that race play and, you know, those themes that
It's
were once
twofold.
used against.
I also want to say this. It's twofold, right? And this is also the biggest part of the BNWO community, right? Because like your Madam Indigo said, she educated herself. She started, you know, looking more, even if it wasn't like picking up a book or buying anything like that. It was like, let me put myself in these spaces. Let me hear what they're talking about, you know, and then she found what she knew in her heart BNWO was, right? But remember, the Black King has also subscribed to this old ass narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ask a Black king who's a bull, and I just had a conversation with a Black king, and I had to tell him, I said, you know, you're a king, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're a king, right? And I had to talk to him about it because he's a bull. He's proud of being a bull. He should be proud of being a bull. And I didn't know that he had a Black wife, and I was really proud of him, right? And you know, he was talking about how his experiences go. And I said, listen, there's cuck and bull. Now, just like QoS, BNWO is not QoS, but QoS can be BNWO.
Mm.
Cuck and bull is not BNW is BNWO is not cuck and bull, but
Right.
but cuck can be
Yes.
BNWO. But the difference is that Black kings need to get in their head too, because this also pushes their narrative. Every time that white bitch call, you don't have to pick the fuck up. Every time they offer you a price, you don't have to take that fucking price.
Mm-hmm.
This is BNWO cuck and bull. You have a key to their house. You have a key to their car. You wake up one morning, right? Dick is hard. You say, oh, I'm going to get some bread today. You walk into their house. They may be sitting there. He's drinking his coffee, reading his newspaper. She's making pancakes, whatever, whatever. You walk in there without their permission, because they've already given you permission, because that house is yours.
Mm-hmm.
That car is yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they have a nicer car than you. You walk in that house. While she's making pancakes, he say, put that shit down. While he's drinking his coffee, you take his wife upstairs, you fuck her, and then you go ahead, you grab the keys to the fucking car and say, we switching cars today. You could take my shit to work. I'm taking your Mercedes. I'm gonna go pick up my girlfriend real quick. And matter of fact, let me get a credit card because I want to take my Black queen shopping. I'll be back at 6 o'clock or whenever the fuck I feel like it. That is a BNWO cuck and bull situation.
1000%.
That's a BNWO cuck and bull situation. Same thing. A Black queen could do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in there with her boyfriend, you know, single incel, fucking white motherfucker at home watching TV, getting ready for work, blah, blah, blah. She walks in with her Black husband. You get what I'm saying? Listen, we're going to fuck in your bed. And when he comes, then you come in. You could clean it up. If I want you to, you could clean it up, right? But while we're fucking loudly in your bed, I'm gonna need you to make us some breakfast or order breakfast or whatever the fuck it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what? I want to buy him some sneakers, so let me get that credit card. And matter of fact, I'm gonna take this car. You could Uber to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna buy a car here, but you ain't driving my shit, cause you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take your car. You gonna Uber to work, right? And I'm gonna take this card, or let me take his wallet. You know, I'm gonna buy my man some Balenciagas real quick. Boom. I'll be back when I the fuck be back. That is a cuck and bull BNWO situation.
Yeah. Not just
know,
the corner cook and bull fucking the wife and she's humiliating the cook, because the cook is the one that's getting more of the, how do you say, like the gratitude, more of the pleasure.
right.
And the cook and the white woman is getting more of the pleasure than even the Black man. The Black man is actually still being used
Mm-hmm.
and being sexualized, being fetished, and he's here to provide a service. Absolutely not. That's not BNWO. That's just, you know.
That's bull. And like I said, the actions don't necessarily change, right? The actions are kind of the same, but see how the intention and the mentality has now switched in that situation. You get what I'm saying? And I don't have anything against it starting off as a cuck and bull situation, because everybody, BNWO is built on consent. Everybody has their hard lines. Everybody has to get comfortable. We have to understand that these white folks, these white tea clear people, they have grown up and it's embedded in them that we are aggressive, that we're scary, that we're wherever. So I understand that there's a dating period in the beginning of that, but if that is not your intention and your growth to grow to that, if your intention as a bull, as a queen, as you know, whatever, is to just literally be, when they're horny, they give you a motherfucking call and pass you $200, that's a motherfucking issue. And that's not BNWO mentality. But see how, and the thing is, when these cups, when they listen to this podcast and they hear what I just said, they're gonna go, oh shit, they're gonna get goosebumps. They're gonna say, oh my God, I want that, right? But are you too fucking pussy, or are you too entitled or scared to even get to that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. To really relinquish control over, like you claim that you want to. Absolutely.
They want to, but they got to get over that. They got to get in Sunday service. They got to get online to the blacknewworldorder.com. They got to get in contact with real QOS that are BNWO.
And actually be of servitude to the BNWO king or queen and ask them, how can I be of benefit to you? How can I be of service to you? How can I actually play my role as a white submissive to your supremacy? Not just it. I feel like it's so sexualized. And yes, I understand that this is sex work and there is the fantasy sexuality of it, but we all need to still learn the mentality and be educated on both roles, because I can't just be educated on you just being a horny white cuck and I know exactly how to get you in subspace, but you can't. When it comes to me and what I need, oh, it's too much. You don't have what it takes. It's that's where I get confused at, because it's like, am I here for you and your fetish of me being a Black woman and you wanting to praise and worship my assets, or are you here for me doing, vice versa, here to praise and be the fucking slave.
Really?
It starts with the queen and it starts with the king, right? You have to have for yourself a growth plan, the goals, right? The tier levels in your mind, in your lifestyle of what you're really trying to get to. And a lot of them aren't going to make it to tier 10. A lot of them are going to make it to tier 2 and 3. And then you're going to realize that they're sluts. Our sluts, we call it revenge me. Sluts are good financially. Yeah, those are those one-off GoFundMe, Throne, Amazon wish list. Those are those motherfuckers. Take it out, get it. A lot of people, I'm very, I'm more leaning right, but I'm towards the middle of BNWO when it comes to how strict I am in my belief system. I take those, right? And they come and go. I don't give them too much effort. I don't give them too much, right? But you say no to the no sub and you say yes to the yes sub. The yes sub, the one that I'm gonna own, the one that I'm gonna put my name on, the one that I'm gonna have in my home and really integrate into my life. That's the one that I'm training to get to level 10. Because remember, to tier 10, because remember, they have been raised in a lie, So we uneducate and we re-educate. And a lot of the kings and queens, they need to unlearn and then apply that. And it's really hard to do. And I know this is now Lady A, and this is why it's really important. The monarch, the sitting monarch of BNWO right now, which is me, and the queen of the QOS, which is Lady A, we work in tandem with that, right? Because on the other side, then you have that white woman, you have the QOS, right? You have the enforcer, and they have to do their due diligence to unlearn, relearn, and then uneducate and re-educate the inferior, the white inferior, which is the white male, right? And being BNWO, they're ungendered. You know, they're not agender, they're ungendered, and we don't consider them real men. And honestly, we don't really consider them in actual marriages either.
Well, yeah, they're not real men. So, like, what are you committing to? Come on now.
They don't have marriages. They're not men. They're not women either. That, you know, they would
an object.
Yeah, they would pray to God to wake up and be a woman, you know. So they don't have a gender, and also they don't have marriages. They don't have, you know, any of those things, and they have to unlearn that, relearn, you know, what they are, how they're supposed to operate. And the thing is, deep down inside, and really some on the surface, they do believe that, and they do want that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that
they're being coddled, like, constantly. Like, there's especially when I first started, there was a number of cuckoldresses that, you know, mostly are, you know, offline in the lifestyle, going to events and everything, but maybe they're online making content, or they have a podcast, whatever. And I was constantly compared to them. And I'm like, but I don't coddle. I'm not here to coddle these aspiring so-called cucks. Like that, I don't understand why continuing to promote this space as a purely white safe space that should be dominated by what these white males want. How that, I mean, especially because white males haven't even liked white women for the majority of history. So, like, why would I align with them, especially, you know, especially because they are a lot of times approaching a white dom for these, you know, supposed black supremacy fantasies. They're approaching a white dom because they feel like they could still be in control of her. She's, you know, she's going to go easy on me. She's going to, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm still a little more in control of this dynamic. Whereas they know if they do approach a black dominant and talk about black supremacy, it's what you just described, Saint Sarah, like what they're actually asking for, but they think that they can do some kind of alpha cuck role with a white woman and pretend to serve black supremacy. And it's just, you know, the coddling of the white male is nonsense to me, especially when they're literally begging to be dominated and to be controlled and to be deprogrammed and to be re-educated. But are you going to step up and you're going to actually do that, you know, and see if they're actually worth a shit as a submissive, you know?
I hate to say it like this, but it's kind of the white woman's fault. Okay.
That's fair. I'll take that.
And I'm not going to say it as your fault in that way, but to think that the white inferior likes you, you said it. They don't like women.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like white women. White males do not.
They don't.
Please, hot wives that listen to this, please, QOS that listen to this, that have a white boyfriend, yes, white husband, white whatever. They don't like you. If he is a cuck, and I don't know, and black queens get confused too when these white men come up to us and they want a BBC also. Don't take that as an insult, my black queens. Please, please, please don't, because white inferiors, males, whatever, non-gendered inferiors, they do not like women.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They don't like women. They wish that their women were black women, and they want dick. They wish they were a black woman. Let me say it like that. White, non-gendered inferiors wish they were a black woman.
Yes.
So now if you think about that, it makes sense why they come to a black queen, and why when they talk to a black queen, they are obsessed with black dick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they come to us to, I want you to tell the bull what to do. I want you to watch and tell the bull what to do to me. And like, what the hell am I doing there?
Right.
They want to be you. They want to be you. And use that to your advantage, and use that as a jump off point to, you know, re-educate them, right? Because, you know, they don't realize it. Some of them will admit it, some of them won't admit it, right? But that's the key. That's the point, right? To feminize them, to make sure that, you know, feminize them out of what they think they are as a man, to make them agendered, and to have them learn our ways, our way of thinking as Black queens, and then have them serve us, right? So it's not offensive to me when I get all of my inferiors. They are obsessed over Black dick, and some of them are obsessed for me as being a Black queen, but most of them, it's about the dick, and
Mm-hmm.
that's, but it's because they want to be a Black woman that gets plentiful Black dick, and it is
Yeah.
our job to make sure that they are in their place with that they learn that it's okay to be that, right? It is okay for you to obsess and want to be everything that I am, and want to please everything that is pleasing to me and my king. That's the point. You get what I'm saying? They'll never be a Black woman, so there's no need in getting offended about it. It's not like they can wake up and really be us or compete
It's
with
not a
us.
surprise. Like, you
They'll
should know that.
Right. They'll never be a woman because they're not even trans, right? Now, if we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about
Right.
that's something a little different, but we're not even talking about trans.
Mm-hmm.
They're about something that is going to be internal with them forever. So there's no need to feel offended by it, compete with it, upset by it. It is something where I'm like, yes, and you need to realize this is what you want. You need to serve me because I'm the only way that you're going to become what you really want to become, a
Mm.
Black, and I'm the only way that you're going to learn how to please who you really want to please, which is a Black king. And that right there, and we know this from industry and the economy, that Black culture runs everything. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And we've
Mm-hmm.
learned that right there, what we're teaching them, what the lifestyle that we're giving them is fucking expensive.
As it
It's
should be.
It's
fucking
a
expensive.
luxury. Yes. So
For me
luxury.
to show you
Luxury.
what makes this tick and how to please that is fucking expensive.
Yes.
And
I
that's
mean, they
it.
wanted to be walking wallets. They've done everything they can, these white males, to try and be the only ones with any sort of economic advantage. They basically, they set themselves up to be used as the walking wallets that they're meant to be. Like, it should not be confusing. It's like, here we are. You're finally admitting probably everything that your forefathers felt too, which is obsession with Blackness, with Black men, with Black women, this desire for proximity to Black dick. Like, read a book. We know that it's true. You just can't let it go. And you've set yourself up now to finally be able to be used, to be useful enough at least to potentially gain proximity to what you're so obsessed with. But exactly, it shouldn't be by their rules. The fuck? Absolutely not.
Because then you can go to Starbucks and get that. That ain't a real Black experience. Like I said, they're looking for the Black culture and the Black experience in a fucking Starbucks. That's not how that fucking works. You gotta be able to pull up to a bodega.
Come to the cookout.
You gotta be invited. You gotta, and that key is expensive. So, we talk a lot about the inferior, but I'm gonna give back to Lady A because I know you have a bunch of topics. Because
No,
I'll
we
go on to
this is what
another
I
one.
want it to be, like I've prompts, etc., things that I'm curious about, because I what I want to do with this podcast is to basically bring people together who have perspectives that I value so much, but I want to be more like, I want to host, I want to be here, I want to bring my audience to it. But there's so many topics that I don't feel like it's my place to speak on. It's not my place to explain. It's still, I was talking to Madam Indigo a little bit about while we were waiting for you, Saint Sarah, that just it's irritating to me when these white subs will try and call me a BNWO queen because I am an enforcer. I am not a BNWO queen because I am a white woman. Like, I'm devoted to, both in my professional lifestyle and my personal lifestyle, to my husband, to my Black king, to, my family, that I'm creating. But I can only be an ally. And I just think that that's something that I need to set an example of, because I don't think enough QOS women that are very comfortable calling themselves QOS don't seem to have that same motivation. And I find it very fascinating that over, I've been doing this online about 10 years, maybe. And the parts of my brand that women want to replicate for their own, benefit, their own financial gain, it's never the I'm going to deprogram the racist and sexist attitudes of these submissives and I'm going to give them homework assignments and re-educate them. I'm going to humble them and re-educate them. It's just, I know they like to be humiliated, so I'm going to humiliate them. I know they like to be degraded, so I'm going to degrade them. I know they like to be the cuck in the chair, so I'm going to, give them that fantasy. And that's not challenging them to be allies any more than you're challenging yourself to be an ally. So, that's just...
Be an ally.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
No, I was saying I don't even find that to be an ally when you are calling yourself like an enforcer, a QoS, but you are not educating them about the Black experience or educating them on how they can show up for what the Black king, how they are not, how to not just sexualize Black women and Black men. And even for the submissive, not just to be sexualized, because there's other ways that you need to still be of support and be of use in our Black lives than just fuck me, Black king.
Literally. And I would love to, if you have any, interactions with submissives that have actually, stepped up and obeyed you in the way that you would like. And, I would love to hear anything about that. Cause I know for myself, the submissives that I actually am happy to put a little bit of energy into are approaching even me in a way that's not just totally sexualized. And they want to talk about my thoughts on politics, my thoughts on social movements, and those are the conversations that I can really get into. And those submissives are always going to get a little bit more of my energy and my time than the ones that are just hitting me up trying to talk about my husband's dick. Like, it's just, that's absolutely, so if either of you have anything you'd like to share about, your interactions with your subs.
Well, I would like to say, can I speak on the QoS real quick?
I really want both of you. I do not have thin skin. I know that there are a lot of people that just don't like me because I use the term QoS, and I've talked to you at length about how problematic I know the term is. I've wanted to drop it a number of times over the years. I'm trying to just set a good example, whatever, but you may speak to whatever you want to on here. I don't care who may be offended, me included. Please, both of you, feel completely free to speak on however, whatever.
Because I was going to backtrack topic on something that you said. So I think that, and I hope a lot of QoS watch this, right? Like I said earlier, BNWO is not QoS, but QoS can be BNWO. I'm not going to speak to because I have an idea, but I really don't know factually how the system of QoS even works other than a bunch of hot wives. I don't know if y'all have a process. I don't know if there's levels. Because, in BNWO, we have queens and bishops and deaconesses, and we have the royal court, and then we have the celestial court. I don't know how QoS works in that faction, other than when a QoS believes and practices BNWO, they recognize that they are an enforcer in BNWO. And that is the highest they can be, right? So my thing is, if you are a QoS and you practice BNWO and believe in BNWO, right? You cannot have a white husband. Yeah. You cannot not be an ally. You cannot make a clique of white QoS, say that you're an enforcer in BNWO, and exclude Black queens completely. If you, in your heart of hearts, love Black dick don't know a single Black woman.
Right.
You cannot be. And you don't have to be well versed in politics, any of that. But the difference between being an ally and being just a QoS and being a QoS and BNWO is that experience, right? Is that experience. And I want my Black queens to know that sift through them. Do not let a hot wife QoS fuck you up on how you look at a QoS BNWO enforcer such as Lady A. Because there is a Black experience. Do you mind if I talk about you being a mother?
No, I don't mind because I've put it out there. So
there is one experience that me and that woman, Lady A, will have in common that unites us in our BNWO goal as mothers of Black children. Mothers of Black children. Therefore, we have to make sure that she has the resources, the education, the support that she needs. And she has to make sure that she is in Black spaces. Because her next generation is not white. No. And never will be again. And never will be again. And we have to understand that that is an honor that her king gave to her, but also a responsibility and a duty that she embraced. Yeah. And we have to accept that. Accept that. I'm not saying, you know, it's going to be rejoiced more than a Black queen. Absolutely not.
Can't.
Black.
Oh, okay. She did freeze. Okay. Is Saint Sarah frozen for you, Madam Indigo, or is that just?
No, she's frozen.
Okay. Yeah, she might need to go out and come back in. One thing I just want to say about that, you know, I just
topic that we're getting on, and then here comes the static.
I know. Again, they're trying to silence us. The white patriarchy is desperate to silence us. God. And I just think it's really perverted too that like these white cucks online, like one of the fantasies that I'll see about them is them wanting their wife to be Black bred so that they are paying to raise this child, and like all that, like it's just so weird, the number of weird kind of fantasies that these white guys will insert themselves in, like something as non-fetish related as loving somebody and getting married and building a family, and they still want to try to insert themselves in that. It's just like mind-boggling to me sometimes, to be honest. Still,
I feel like
well, I'm not going.
Welcome back.
Am I here?
Yes.
I never left.
Like I never left.
I never left. I just stayed here and waited for y'all.
Oh, okay. Well,
so, what was I saying? Black children. Can you see me? Am I frozen?
Yes. No, you're perfect again. Yes.
Okay. Where did Indigo go? Okay, there I'm on the wrong screen. Okay. So, you know, this is a can you pause it for a second? Michael! We can hear you on the podcast. We could go again.
It's all good. It's all good.
So, you know, it is something that we have to accept in BNWO, and it's something that we have to cultivate. We have to grow it, right? We have to water that, and we have to understand that that is a huge part of BNWO. If we say we are not the barbarians, we are not the inferiors that felt that they had to kill us all and do genocide. We're not. You get what I'm saying? We are so in demand. We are so what they want to obtain. All you have to do is have children to get rid of the white lineage, the white bloodline. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is a crucial part of why we have to have the enforcer she doesn't even have to be QoS. Maybe she's not QoS. Maybe she's only a BNWO enforcer. But whatever that is, they do play another role in BNWO as far as getting rid of the white blood, the white race. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, because there are BNWO far right, you know. So when I talk about far right, those they're like, hang them, get rid of them, genocide, you know. And I'm like, whoa, we need right, but we need our people. We need our people to stay free, though.
That's when I'm like in my space. That's like when we're in session, I'm in my space. I'm like, yes, you need to be walking around with the noose.
But we need you free,
just
though.
in case at any given time.
Madam Indigo, we need you to be free, though. We don't need you locked up for war crimes.
Yeah,
I know. We need us
voluntary
free.
white boy disposal. They're asking for it. It's consensual, isn't it? We
then
all about consent.
They could go ahead then and tie a rock to themselves and walk into the ocean, but we ain't gonna do it. So my whole thing is like, you know, also we don't have to.
Yeah, that takes too much energy. When they come to me asking me, you know, what are the ways that you'll dispose of me? You know, can you hang me? Can you chop me up? Or can you cut my shit? That's a lot of energy for me to beat you and shit like that. That's a lot of energy that I'm putting out on you.
We gotta get the shovel. We gotta bury them. We gotta come out to Vegas and find the desert area.
We're laughing and enjoying this. Like, yes, it's okay for you to enjoy it, but you're forgetting that you're here for my enjoyment. You're here for my betterment and for my life, what I need from you, not from what you know, like what you want to get from me because I'm a Black woman or a Black man.
Absolutely. And I feel like, you know, that is a mentality, and they are also BNWO. That mentality of the Black kings and queens that feel that way, that think that way. Listen, love y'all to death. Because when I tell you, when they come for us, just like them Haitians in Brooklyn and Flatbush, right? When they come for us, them far right BNWO, those are the ones that beat their ass back. You know, so we need them soldiers. Them soldiers, I love them to death, you know. But then there's the far left, right? So that's the far right of BNWO. But the far left is like, hey, interracial relationships, things like that, you know. So do I push the narrative of either one? No, because being the monarch, I have to be able to make you know, laws and principles that benefit all of BNWO members, right? Because I don't ever want a Black child who has a white mother or even a white father, right? Because a Black queen could do the same thing. A Black queen could absolutely have had a interracial relationship. A Black queen could do what she wants to do, just like the Black king could do what he wants to do. You know, and I think we forget that too. We always focus on the Black king that's like fucking the white woman, but a Black queen, we have the same rights. We're beings. The only difference is Black women as a whole tend to not want to venture out of their own race. We are more sexually attracted to a Black king than any other race. I mean, obviously. Obviously. But, you know, there are a lot of Black queens out here getting with old, about to die, rich white motherfuckers. And, you know, that motherfucker 72 years old putting a baby up in her, you know, erasing his whole, whoever thought was the heir to his legacy, Black now. You get what I'm saying? Like, and they're cutting off their ex-wives and their moms and their dads and their brothers and their sisters from their money. And they're understanding that I need to give it to my Black child, you know? So Black queens have just the right to do the same thing. I think that Black queens forget that when we get a little, you know, why is he with a white woman, you know, or an enforcer or whatever? Baby, we can do that too. It ain't nothing. We don't put ties on our people like that. Because guess what? We forget that Black queens can only make Black kings and queens. And Black kings, same thing, you know? So, but there is a far left that absolutely believes in that and pushing that narrative, which is fine. I don't necessarily do it, but it's fine, you know? So I think what's really important is that, and Lady A does a really good job, but unfortunately there's only a few Lady A's out here. Her camp isn't, you know, hundreds and thousands of people. You know, her camp even though she has that many admirers, but her camp is kind of, tight circle, like how I kind of keep a tight circle. I probably have more queens in the BNWO than she has, enforcers QoS in her camp that have the same narrative as her, right?
Yep.
And I think it's really important that if you want to be an enforcer in the BNWO as a white woman, if you say that you're a QoS plus BNWO believer, and you practice BNWO as a QoS, you have to understand that. And you have to educate your sisters on that. You have to educate your sisters on that. And you have to let them know that, there's an honor in it. And there's also a responsibility and a duty in it. Don't take this shit lightly. Don't talk about you colorblind and all this other shit,
Right.
and you about to have some black kids. Don't sit here and get yourself a black man and you don't have no black women in your life. And all you have is these white women in your life, and now you done had a curly-headed black girl, and you don't know what to do with her head because you ain't got no sisters in your circle. Now she growing up confused, asking you questions you don't know shit about, and that's one thing. And I'm not saying you got to learn AAVE and braid your hair up. Please don't.
Yeah, if anything, please don't. Right.
Because we ain't fucking with that. You could still, like I said to Lady A the other day, I said, we love you because you're always Lady A. But if you Susan, be Susan. Be Susan. You don't got to learn how to make mac and cheese for the barbecue. Bring the wine. That's what you're good at. Bring the wine.
The charcuterie board. How you say the coochie board? Come on.
That's what Susan's good at, but also Susan also has a position to play to learn all she can, to educate her people in all that she can, really take in and embrace that these are your sisters now. This is your auntie now. This is your grandma now. This is your history now. Not that Irish, Italian, whatever, Polish shit. That's not. Grandma, Big Mama, that's your history now.
Right.
Embrace that, learn that, listen, and pass that on. And if you do that, listen, we welcome you. We welcome you. And understand also it's a big responsibility, the lessons you got to teach your kids, and also the kind of woman you got to be for a black king. You get what I'm saying? The kind of woman you got to be for a black king. The best thing I could do is say, get yourself a sister, get yourself in some BNWO spaces. You are not hated. There are some wounds there that Lady A can actually better educate you on how to conduct yourself as an enforcer in the BNWO, as a QoS, as an interracial couple. Lady A actually could speak to you from a point of view better than I probably can. You get what I'm saying? But there is a historical wound that black women and white women have with each other. And you need to really, put yourself in spaces with a woman like Lady A so you can understand it, learn how to navigate it, and really get yourself into this community. If everything I just said to you is something that you feel is too much work, really turns you off about it, then baby, you a hot wife. Don't BNWO in your bio. Don't say that you're BNWO.
And you can be a size queen. Just leave, calling it, the term QoS is race play. So stop using it if you don't want to take on that responsibility and humble yourself, as you're, very rightly saying that there's more to it.
Don't call yourself a QoS because I'm not a QoS, right? Lady A, the queen of the QoS, like I said, she can educate you better on what you really are. If you really want to be here and how to navigate that, I'm going to say right now, you're not BNWO. You're not a BNWO enforcer. And if you end up being one of those white women that's on the internet crying how the black woman is bullying you, hush it up, because ain't nobody coming to save you. Yeah. We don't play that,
You probably deserve it.
Probably deserve it. We don't really care about
honestly, you should probably be paying for it because it's literally what you probably need.
You asked for, right?
You're asking for it, for real.
Yeah. So just for all those QoS out there that want to be BNWO, that aren't really sure where they fit in BNWO, listen, like I said, if everything I said kind of turns you off, then maybe, listen, I've had black women and black men, when they come to me and they're anti-BNWO, where they don't understand BNWO, and they say my race ain't for play. And I said, baby, BNWO ain't playing with our race. BNWO is actually, really putting our race where it's supposed to be. This is what I'm talking about. You know, y'all think that we're using our race, you know, as a cash grab or just as a game, right? But it's not a game. And this is how serious we are about it. You know, so if it's for all the Black kings and queens that were on the fence or unsure or wasn't really with BNWO, this is what I mean when I say that BNWO Raceplay is involved. But I don't even call it Raceplay, to be honest. It is Black supremacy lifestyle.
Yes.
Different words that y'all understand, but this is a Black supremacy lifestyle, and this is the lifestyle part that, by God, ain't about play. It ain't for play, you know. And that's what it is.
My main focus is more into the lifestyle aspect of it than just, you know, here for the play and for the sessions. I need to know how dedicated you are to be in my life. How serious are you to learn how the black experience is, how you are able to contribute
to the furtherment of the Black community. Really, the Black supremacist agenda. Everyone wants to talk about the gay agenda and all this other stuff. BNWO is an agenda. We have, when I told you, you have your individual growth plan in the BNWO handbook for all Black dominance. Did you download yours, Indigo? Have you seen it?
I did. I downloaded it.
We have, you know, it's not for everyone's eyes. It's not for submissives. It's not even for enforcers. But for us, you know, and I know, and any BNWO member of our community knows, you know, we as BNWO have a growth plan. So when we are talking about BNWO submissives that want to be a part of this community, this church, this organization, BNWO, you're contributing to that agenda. You know, there's agenda and things like, oh, some cult thing, some bad thing. No, every organization has a growth plan and an agenda. Tiers that milestones that we are trying to hit as a community. And if you are not a part of that as a submissive, just like we can't play about being Black people when we walk out this door, our race has never been for play, even though they've been playing in our face for a long time. How seriously this war and this fight is in vanilla life. That is how serious we are in BNWO about our sex work life, about our lifestyle. You know, the sex work is just a little stepping stone. The sex work is literally just financial, right? It's just financial. But the lifestyle is everything. You see the content, the sex work is the tangible. You know, is that tangible thing. So that's what y'all focus on. That's what you're going to see the most, because that's what generates, you know, income. That's why when it comes to the Black king in BNWO, that's why you see cuck and bull the most, because for the Black king, that is the thing that brings in the most money from a Black king to a white inferior dicklet. You get what I'm saying? So that, or even as the white woman, as a submissive, right? Cucking and bullying is the financial engine that is the biggest moneymaker for a Black king. That's why you see it the most. You know, the second thing you see the most from a Black king is what? His feet. It's because it's a big financial engine, right? But that's not what we're all about. When you come to BNWO, you see the financial engine, but the financial engine, you know, contributes to the agenda. And if you can't contribute to the financial engine, that's when we say, how can you serve through finance and lifestyle? Finance, servitude, lifestyle, finance, skill, and lifestyle. The skill contributes to the agenda. The lifestyle contributes to the agenda. But a lot of y'all are so fucking pussy to do lifestyle and to do by skill, right? You a lawyer. I just had to cut off a fucking white submissive. He was a fucking lawyer. But when I kept asking more and more of him, now he's scared. I don't want them to know what this is really about and what company and organization this is really about. Well, fuck you. I don't need you. You know, I already make enough money. So you really can't pay me enough.
Yeah.
You white and you Jewish. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you know, that was your contribution to the agenda, to be an attorney. Your skill was to be an attorney for BNWO members. And then you got scared. So fuck you. I don't need you then.
Yeah, because that's a moment to level up for in his journey of devotion and actually being useful. Like you're basically saying, this is what I need from you. This is what I expect from you. So level up.
I expect from you, because trust and believe, we have many more motherfucking BNWO lawyers.
Right.
But that is the thing that you chose as a skill to contribute to the community, because you couldn't contribute enough financially, and you couldn't bring your lifestyle and BNWO. You couldn't combine the two publicly, because I'm the type of queen where, you know, and no shade, if you don't mind them loving you in private, because that's how you get your coin, baby, get your coin. I'm never going to tell you not to get your coin, but I'm the type of queen where I don't really have nothing to hide, because I do mainstream porn. So you won't love me publicly. If you want to give me lifestyle, you want to give me lifestyle publicly. When you go to that fancy fundraising dinner, I need to be out there publicly. Not when you're done with the dinner, because that's the position I'm in right now. And that's what I want from you, you know? So I need to meet the governor and the senator too. Mm-hmm. If you can't combine that and you don't have enough to give me, then you need to bring me a skill. And that was your skill. And then you take that away, your words mean nothing to me. I'm an ally. How? Because you're not contributing to the agenda. You saying you're an ally ain't going to get us that land deal. Right. Ain't gonna get us the housing I'm building, the low-income housing I'm building for BNWO people that are displaced from their home. That's not gonna start the BNWO scholarship or grant. You saying that you're an ally. No. I need lifestyle, skill, or finance. And that's the difference, you know?
Well, when they want to, you know, try to again, cheapen the whole experience and just make it about sexualization and make it about fantasies, they're not even thinking that anybody's minded to have those types of significant changes, like actually trying to change society, change a culture. You know, they just want to be able to put it, like you said, put it in a little box over here, playtime, and then I can go back to being some privileged D-bag the rest of the time. And yeah, that was always my issue. I was like, you know, we have the capacity being dominants to actually challenge somebody to serve us the way we want, serve, you know, whatever our goals or missions are. You know, I love that one thing I do in the, you know, FinDom culture. I'd like to see women, when they're not being petty and being on some mean girl bullshit, and they're actually trying to put each other onto game about, you know, you can really groom your submissives. If they're actually locked into you and what matters to you, you can really groom them to do what you want them to do, which is, you know, your actual success beyond just send me a gift, like send me some lingerie. Excuse me. What is that doing for my future, for my goals, for like what I see, you know, how I want to contribute to the world, make the world a better place? Like you can use this power to do so much more than just, you know, those small things day to day that just make, he sent me a nice gift. Like, what? Like, no, let's.
And that's fine. Those submissives that are just revenge meat and sluts, they're fine.
Drain them though. Push that shit.
Yeah,
drain that shit.
Hierarchy, they're out of the barrel. They're roaches. The hierarchy, there's more of them than anything, right? They're the bottom of the barrel.
Absolutely. They're sluts. They are absolutely big time sluts. Absolutely. That was like one of my first lessons of being in the online thing, that these girls would be like, oh, he's owned. I'm like, what? Oh, like he's sending to everybody I know. What do you mean don't put your name on somebody like that. Just don't do that. That's not necessary.
Because you know what? She doesn't know her worth yet, because she's trying to get some community dick, right? We already know that. They sluts, they plentiful. They're good for a good meal, a lingerie set, something like that. And like I say to my queens, girl, don't you turn that down. Get your fucking money. But keep them.
Keep it in perspective. Absolutely.
Yeah, don't own that. You get what I'm saying? And and as a submissive, when you're saying like, oh, I gotta do all this to be a BNWO submissive, let me tell you, and not get anything in return. And you know, but I do, you know, what brought me to BNWO was the dick, or was the Black Queen's booty, or whatever. We're not saying that you will not be fulfilled, right? All built on consent. We're not saying that you will not be fulfilled, that you will not have your purpose and all these things in your life and in your heart, you know, fulfilled, right? What I'm saying is put my name on the deed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that 250, fine. You know, that's some slut shit. But you want me to own you. You want all of this from me. What I'm saying is put my name on the deed. What do I want? If you can't give me 10,000 right now, or whatever number, I'm just saying like 10,000, with something significant, right? You can't give me life-changing money right now. Give me life-changing opportunity for now and later. That don't cost you nothing right now, except a $200 retainer fee for an attorney to do the paperwork. You know? Then you can be mine.
Right.
It's nothing but a change of this, which, trust me, once you get a change of this, you're going to be so much better, because you're not going to be walking around locking your doors and clutching your purse and clutching your pearls, because you'll see that your parents fucking lied to you, that the Black community, the Black woman especially, is the most nurturing.
Yeah.
The
That's why they come to us as well. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. One thing I just learned this recently, which I knew in my heart all along, but I needed to like read it for myself. When we say, when the inferior people say, you know, oh, you know, we're still bitching about slavery and we want reparations. Well, you know, in Africa, Black people owned Black people. Africans owned Africans, right? And they were so disabled and had wars, and they were all in the dirt, and they were whatever. Like Europeans were the blessing, like white saviors, right? So I actually looked it up, and I said, and I looked up. I said, were there, before the transatlantic slave trade, before European colonization, were there any disabling wars, slavery, or anything like that, right, happening in all of Africa, the continent, right? Because there's many countries within the continent. And the answer is no. The answer is, I thought it was going to be like, there was a few, you know, there was a few. Some people did, some people didn't. The answer was no. Even our slave system, which was more like a prison system, and even as a I wouldn't even say prison system, more of a halfway house type of system, we actually never had destabilization. We never had wars that destabilized us. We had civil wars that were very minor, and even they were organized and went through, like how we have a Geneva Convention, actually went through some type of diplomacy, right? We had systems that were so organized, right? That we didn't have poverty. We didn't have, you know, slums. We didn't have any of that before the transatlantic slave trade, before and even Asian colonization and Middle Eastern colonization, you know, in the entire continent, including the Congo and places like that. And you know, I want our people to understand that we can be that again. We can be that again. We do have the capacity. They have lied to us. They've lied to their own people. They have really brainwashed or convinced themselves that we were in the mud and we needed them, and that we were not this organized people before they came, which we already know isn't true, because we taught them how to wash their ass, medicine, all that, right? So, you know, we already know there's evidence that that's not true. But they've lied to themselves so deeply that that's, you know, even if they don't want to believe it, a part of them is like, you know, and it's crazy because once they get the re-education, they will see. I have a sub right now. He's going through a slutty phase, but he's a pretty good sub for BNWO. And he said, I hate my parents. He's European. He said, I hate my parents. And I became BNWO because of them, because I realized that they lied to me about Black people. And they did it because they knew that we were so magnetic. They knew that if the world knew the truth about us, other than our rap music, other than our fashion, other than the superficial things, the artistic things that they want to swallow, they knew that we would control every that we would be leading in medicine, that if they wanted to really know about medicine, mathematics, anything, agriculture, that they would have to come to us. And they don't want us to feel like they have to come to us. They don't want us to know that they still need to come to us, right? And so a lot of subs, they come to me at least on that angle, that they were lied to. So if you can get your submissive, if you can, really drive that through to a submissive, right? That would free them so much. It's like taking the blinders off and now they see, right? That they were lied to. All that fear will wash away. All of that, and it's also another of the BNWO side, our responsibility to educate each other. And, we've already done a great job of breaking down the homophobia in the Black community and the transphobia in the Black community as far as BNWO goes, right? Because that's another thing. The white inferior, they look at it like they have homosexual tendencies and things like that, or does that make them gay? And I'm like, well, you don't have a gender, so you're not the fuck anything, right? But they're afraid that if they approach a Black man, because history will tell you that Black men have a wound when it comes to homosexuality. They're afraid that they're going to get beat up or get the shit kicked out of them or whatever. But within BNWO, the true BNWO, we have broken down walls as far as what we have been taught and poisoned with as far as homosexuality. A gay Black man is not a real man. Are you shitting me? That's crazy. Transphobia, all these things. BNWO, we have unlearned and relearned so much in 5 years.
Because our God, before we were praising white Jesus, our gods were sexes. They changed into
hermaphroditic. They were hermaphroditic.
Yeah.
And our culture, they could present as female or male. And that's before we were brought Christianity, so that is the thing. Also taking the blinders off of our own people. So any submissive that is, well, they're all non-gendered, but any submissive that just worships BBC and they have in their mind they're gonna get the shit kicked out of them, or Black men don't, they faggot this, faggot that. That is not true within this community of BNWO, within the real, I'll just say the real community of BNWO. We have broken down so many stigmas, so many walls, so many poisons. I don't want to say lies, because our mammies were poisoned with this, have broken down so much in our own community. So that fear that pussy ass shit that these, inferiors have, that is an excuse at this point. At this point, 5 years going on now, 3 years, I might have given it to you, but 5 years now, that's some pussy ass shit that y'all going through. That it'll come off, it'll be a weight off their shoulders, and then they could really live the lifestyle that they want to live. But I'm telling you, it's that fear of the superiors. It's the fear of the superiors. They got to get past. And we have to have patience for it, though. We do. We do have to have patience for it.
It's a process. Yeah. And I mean, that white guilt issue is one of the reasons why I take it seriously as an enforcer, that, Black dominance shouldn't have the stress put on them, that it's their job to re-educate everybody. I feel like one of the things that I can do is to re-educate and groom some bitch boys and just basically let them know this is where you belong. Like, if you actually want to serve Black supremacy, if you actually believe in this, you need to go and you need to put yourself in a situation where you're actually going to be challenged to do that. And you need to go to the blacknewworldorder.com, and you actually have to actively put yourself in a position to be told what it will mean to actually serve. Because I hate that overuse of, phrases like, worship. Oh, I worship Black supremacy, but you really just want to drain black balls. Is that worship? Truly, is it really watching from the corner, whatever it is, tied up in the, I don't, whatever your fantasy is, it's not worship. Even overusing that term slave. I want to be a slave. Really? Really? You
Yeah.
want to have zero rights. You want to be completely owned, not allowed to think for yourself, make no choices for yourself. That's really, oh, okay, all right. Okay. Yeah. Show it. Like, so I'm just really grateful to have, be able to um have somewhere to push these idiots, to actually, put up or shut up. And anyway, I just wanted to make that point about, the education of these white idiots should more so be on Cure West that are actually trying to be allies, so that they actually have at least humbled themselves a little bit to be open to, like you said, the patience that you're going to have to show them to actually see if they're worth a shit, But anyway, I just, Madam Indigo, if there was anything, specific that you wanted to speak on after all
Um,
of that.
for me, I would say that it's important for the white submissives to get into their minds and get into their hearts, that it's not just sex.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, for me, I just feel as though I just get the sexualizing, the fetishizing. And when I tell you that I'm trying to open up retreats out here, or I need you to, what's it called? You're good at this skill. I need you to contribute in that way. Then they disappear, or they're like, oh, I'm not into findom type of thing. But it's like, you're using these terminologies, like you're saying, I'm here to serve and to worship and to be a slave, but you're not, you're still only focused on you.
Mm-hmm.
You're only still focused on how I am going to be able to benefit you and your fantasy. And it has absolutely nothing to do with me. So for me, being an empowered Black woman, I am always going to enforce these white idiots on your place in my life. And it has absolutely nothing to do with your little worm in between your legs. So,
Do you have submissives that are not white and still want to be degraded or humiliated, and still acknowledge the truth of Black supremacy? Like, because I know it is a lot of white boys out here, but
I have one who, for me, I want to empower him more. I don't mind degrading you and, calling you the hard R, but I also need you to understand how powerful you are and how much of an asset that you are. And I feel like that for all of my submissives, even though you are a submissive, you have a very important role. And you need to honor that role of you being an asset to my life, of you being of, like, you, it's an honor,
mm-hmm.
to be able to be in my presence and be able to contribute. So I do have Black subs where they like to be humiliated in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get it. I just be like, I don't get it. You are the most supreme being on this earth, and you are whitewashed programmed that you're not shit.
Yeah.
You are a piece of shit. And I can deal with that and play and everything, but because I take this seriously as a lifestyle, it's just like I can't. I'm not into that, because I'm going to empower you, and you either be an empowered submissive or you be an empowered dom. So,
Yeah, and you can enjoy your submissive side and all sorts of different kinky play without, being degraded or being humiliated. So maybe sometimes it is just exploring it a little bit and seeing, you know, what else, what other kind of play there can be to satisfy that desire to be in a submissive headspace without it being, like you're saying, just being told you're a piece of shit or something like that, because that's, but you know, we all know that, you know, BDSM, a lot of it is facing trauma and you know, interacting with something that, you know, some type of, you know, either programming from this bullshit whitewashed world that we are in, or, you know, some personal trauma and trying to reenact it in a way where you have some control over it. So, you know, I totally understand that people are all on their own journeys. But I just, when it comes to the white submissives, I just, they don't deserve so much space to just be obnoxious and be entitled, and because you get to walk out that door and continue to be a privileged white male. So you know what, and you're not going to get to call the shots when you're talking about you want to serve black supremacy, you want to be humiliated this way or that. It's not going to be by your parameters, and it shouldn't be. It absolutely should not be. It doesn't make any fucking sense, whether it's a cuckolding space or anything else. It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
My
I mean,
phone
we definitely, please go.
My phone had died. I had a ran. First of all, I can't move in this dress. I was going up 2 flights of steps, grabbing my
My
charger,
legs aren't supposed to move in this dress. I'm supposed to sit and look pretty. What the hell?
yelling. I was like, "Go there!"
My camera, yeah, my camera died too. So I understand. So I
You
was
would
testing
pick
for too
up.
long.
See, listen, all the technical difficulties, but yes, I when I caught the end of what Madam Indigo was saying about the black submissive, and we do have black submissives which are above the other race
Of
submissives
course.
in BNWO.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to say in BNWO, we give, not even give, black submissives have the right to explore themselves and do whatever they want to do, right? Black people as a whole, black men especially, that see themselves as submissive and want a FLR relationship, you know, they have a right to do so, and they should, you know, embrace that, right? Cross-dressing or feminization, dollification, there is a stigma that they are not kings once they do things like that, but they very much are, you know.
You can't change that. That's you are, and however you choose to
Yep.
live, express yourself, you know, just be aware of, like, you know, the influences that you may be acting a certain way because of some type of influence, and just try to be self-aware of
I really try to understand. I have not ran into any black submissives of my own that want to be called nigger or anything like that, right? That want to be humiliated specifically around their race, right? I probably could not. You know, the thing that I can say though is if your kink does center around the degradation of your black race, I'm not saying a BNWO queen won't do it for you, but I am going to say that's not the practice of BNWO.
Right.
You can be submissive. You could be a cuck. You could be whatever. But I don't think that you go to a country club, right? A country music club and ask for rap music or classical music. I don't think you go to someone who is in the black supremacy lifestyle and ask for black degradation.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I do say that black kings and queens absolutely have the right to be whatever they want to be, and they are still kings and queens. I just don't, it's just not, let's be clear, that's not BNWO.
Yeah.
You know, so don't call it that. And I probably wouldn't go to the BNWO space
to look for that. Right.
That. Right.
No, that's such a good point.
Yeah. The easiest way that I could not kink shame it. I don't deal with it. That I haven't had to. Thank God. I've only dealt with black submissives that needed empowerment about being black. But yeah, it's just not BNWO. We are black superiority, not degrading of black anything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mamingo, you said that you do, in-person sessions. Do you work out of a dungeon sometimes, or
I normally, I'm gonna close that window.
do you think? It is my privilege to wait.
I do. I work out of what's it called dungeons and also like hotels. I mostly do hotels. Being here in Albania, there is no dungeons, so it's just
Oh,
best for me.
really?
No, I would say the closest one would just be in Greece.
Nice.
What's her name? Mistress Alexandria. She has a dungeon out there. Um,
Nice.
but I normally just do hotels.
Yeah. Do you both do you enjoy like cock and ball torture? Like, is that, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
It's
Well,
I was like, absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah. I have a dream to actually have like a mantle full of cocks and balls. Like,
Yes, like in fucking jars on the mantle, just girly things.
yeah, just like some accessories just to collect. There's no need for you to have your cock and your balls anyway. It's not being
Little
used.
glitter on it.
Oh, right.
Put a little glitter on it. Yeah.
Some acrylic or something, just make it into a little art piece.
Yeah. Like how we wear their chastity key. I want a key ring of your balls.
Oh, I love that. I love everything about that. That is an untapped industry that we need.
I actually think there is a way, an ethical way you could do it. Maybe
Absolutely.
not with their cock, but I really think that you could
The
go.
balls.
Yeah, they could get medically castrated.
100%. 100%. You could safely do it, and you can 100% donate it. Like pay. Well, they shouldn't be donating. They should have to pay, obviously, to donate it. But
Yeah, it
yes.
can medically, like, without us getting in trouble for it, right? And then you can do what you want. But would you take it to taxidermy to turn it into like a keychain type situation? A
Yeah,
taxidermy.
like how
You'd have
how
to,
a rabbit foot. Yeah, like a rabbit foot, or what's it called? The alligator. Don't they do the alligator foot?
Taxidermist, and I'm that they could.
And then from there, decorate as you please. That would be a fun girls' night. I'm just saying.
What's the goal now?
Well, I was saying, these white subs, they try, oh, I'm pussy free for the BNWO. Yeah, but will you actually remove your balls and put yourself in chat? Like, will you commit? I'm looking for commitment here. I'm looking for sacrifice.
Locked in chastity. You can't touch it at all. I want it to shrink down into a belly button. It's non-existent. And then put some panties on you, dress you up like a little baby.
Yeah, we're looking for it to be inverted by the time we're done here.
Question. Eligible inferiors, should they never have children, or should they donate sperm for IVF?
For the black dom.
For the Black Queen. And then everything that they leave behind, that's why I said eligible, they have to write like in a will or a trust or something like that, an endowment, something like that, to their future children.
Well, I know for a fact that this is not my choice. So.
I'm not far left. I'm not far right. I'm right in the middle because I to hear both perspectives and see how it's going to benefit me. So most definitely, I think that's a brilliant idea of having these white men's sperm be donated to the Black Queen and only create Black babies. And like I said, put me on a will, put me on a deed, give me my land. Yeah.
For eligible ones.
To have it tied to inheritance is key. That's beautiful. Yes, I love that.
Into privilege, right?
Yeah.
That is I think that's great. I think that is something that I could definitely get behind, especially because my first child is an IVF baby. I wish I was BNWO at the time, because it would work out real different. But yeah, I've thought of the idea, right? Because the wealth isn't gonna go anywhere with these privileged people. They have accumulated so much.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get rid of it if they want to. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it has to go somewhere. And it's just going to circulate back into their family, back into their community. How can we like branch that off, right? Like a new timeline. You know, it's
so that his white family doesn't get the inheritance anymore.
So even if they can't make it to where they cut him off, they're right. My thing is if I get, but that's only if you get with the head of the family. But let's say you get with their son or someone, right? Someone that has inherited their wealth too. I feel like there should be a branch off, right? But if we keep branching it off, right? So you get one son, then you get his sister with a black man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get, you know, you keep putting these black branches off this shit. Look at the Kardashians. Have you seen their Christmas card?
Right.
Do you know my kids will not remember when the Kardashians were white?
You know? Yeah.
Kardashian, and if I was to go to like my kids' one day and be like, the Kardashians are white, they'd be like,
right.
No. What are you talking about? North? Dream? Who are you talking about? Like, you know, but they just like all but one sister, you know, they just branched it off.
Mm-hmm.
All one sister. Everyone else went, but even Rob, the son, went black, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, right. you just the next generation, you just keep putting in them black branches.
Would you consider them being QOS?
The Kardashians?
Yeah, like would you consider them being allies, I should say?
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not
really.
They want the benefit of being black, you know?
They love black dick.
They want the proximity without any of the responsibility to actually, because I mean, that type of wealth that they have too, come on.
I would even say that they destroy black men.
Yes.
That's a whole conspiracy, actually, that they're descended from witches and that they like are a curse on the men that they are with, like that they're like destined to never have like successful It's a whole, again, it's a conspiracy.
But now that you put it that way, they kind of destroy every man they're with.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
The black men really do fall hard. And I don't think that I think that they actually destroy men, especially black men. And I don't think they're in tune other than black hip hop fashion culture. I don't think they're in tune with the black community whatsoever.
I mean, what's her name? Ken's best friend is Lala. And I feel like
she's a coon.
Okay. She is only friends with her, so you know she's learning some tips. You know.
I think Lala's a coon too.
Yeah.
I think
it's just they, you know, people want to again. They acknowledge how obsessed they are with everything black, but they don't actually want to give flowers to black people, you know, let alone anything else. So it's just, you know, she just wants to be near everything that's better without actually being humble enough to try to contribute in some way positively. So
before Trump, you also didn't really align someone's political beliefs with who you thought they were. But Trump has destroyed that, right? You can't be MAGA and be an ally.
No.
It's
but you like, I mean, not only are you a part of a racist, sexist, absolutely, you know, just me, I don't care if the world burns, but, you know, just showcasing that, like, they'll go down with the ship instead of giving other people rights or protection or dignity. Like, they'll just let themselves get killed off, too, along with everybody else, because they're just that angry about sharing. And that's a whole.
And it's even worse when you have black children.
Yeah.
You know, it's bad when you have daughters, but you have daughters and they're black too. So the only way you could square that circle is if you're raising your children not to see themselves as black also. Because what you're saying is, I understand this group of people is going to suffer, but my kid isn't one of those people. That doesn't apply.
Yeah.
To so you believe either money took care of all that, or you don't see them as Black, but either way, you're convincing them that they are not included in that set of people, which they are. So that is anti-BNWO ally everything. Like that is, that is the opposite of what we are.
I've had MAGA QoS that I've just cut off, I mean, ones that I've cut off, ones that my kings cut off, because I'm just like, I can't fuck with you. I can't, like, I don't, and one, I don't give people clout, so I don't name names, but she has a Black husband, 2 kids with him, and she's MAGA, and I just look at somebody differently because I just don't understand what he says that speaks to you if you have the responsibility of protecting this, Black family that you're blessed to be a part of. Like, I don't.
He's a coon. He's a coon.
Oh, yeah.
Her, because of his self-hatred and proximity to whiteness.
Yeah.
He didn't get with her because he loved her so dearly and created this interracial, well, I don't even like that word, this Black family, right? He got with her to make his Blackness disappear, not to give her Black children.
That's wild. Yeah, that's interesting.
There are men out there. There are Black men out there. For example, if they're very dark, they will only mess with light-skinned women because they want their children to come out lighter. Yeah. Or white women because they want their children to come out lighter. So it's not about spreading who he is through a woman and with a woman. It's about erasing what he is through a woman and with a woman. So you get what I'm saying? So for example, like your king absolutely is expanding who he is through you. And you're standing on that. You get what I'm saying? You're amplifying that because that's what women do. We amplify, right? So you're amplifying that with him. But, there are Black men that'll get with white women. They look like y'all too, but the intention, the mentality, like I said, the actions may be the same, but the intention is completely different. He's trying to erase who he is, and having a white woman and light kids is going to amplify everything that he wants to be. And that is coonery.
It's just insane. Like, the obsession, like these white subs have with Blackness, and just, wanting to try and pick and choose what anyway, it's just, I get worked up about it because it's just nonsense. It's completely illogical, just, and then that mentality bleeding into, people not even realizing how they're, that guy, how he's behaving. And it's like, even these privileged white males, how much power they have, how much influence they have, and they just want to be degraded and talk about Black dick, Black men. Like, how do you not see that as Blackness runs everything? Blackness is everything. Like, how do you not feel that, that power that you should be wielding, when somebody that, should, like, why is that his fantasy? Like, because he just knows that you just being comfortable and confident and loving of yourself as a Black person intimidates everything, all the delusion that he has that somehow he's superior. Like, they feel their inferiority. They feel it.
No, everything that you just said, they know it. That's why outwardly they're banding together, trying to do everything so we don't know it.
Yeah.
And trying to dismantle that because they know it. But one thing, there's a lot of factors, but we multiply. You can really stop us. You get what I'm saying? We came over here, there was thousands. We came over here absolutely the minority, but they don't, and I don't even know why they keep saying that when
they want to, it's a gameplay, right? Exactly. It's that wordplay nonsense trying to get you to think of it that way. Yeah.
Black and brown people were actually the majority.
Mm-hmm.
So why do they keep saying that we're the minority?
To hope that you'll believe it, and it's not true.
And it's not
So, yeah,
true.
it's not true.
Because if every Black person got together, we would decide. If every Black person could vote, we actually would decide who was the president every single year.
No.
There's nothing they could do. Now, if you add Black and Hispanic people, if every Black and Hispanic person could vote, we would be the determining factor in this country.
No.
How
Well,
is
it's like
that
you
the
said, it's that propaganda that white is powerful and that desiring for proximity to whiteness. Meanwhile, those supposed powerful white people are submitting to a Black dominant in some capacity, in some way in their life. So but this is why we have these conversations, so that knowledge can get out, so that, other,
Also for
you
them
know,
to be free and for them to be open about it. The more that they are educated on it, on Black supremacy, the more that they actually show up and show out and not disregard, disregard us and only keep us, late night in a club,
right?
keep us hidden, the more that they can actually be free and actually like I said, like be empowered in their role as the submissive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
maybe
Take it seriously.
they wouldn't keep having heart attacks and ulcers and dying and strokes and shit like that. They'd actually be, naturally what they're supposed to be. And our people need to understand the power of flipping it, right? It's not just what they'll give you, it's not just that little monetary, tribute or anything like that. There's a lot of power in that. You could flip it. That's why I say the deed. That's why I say the ownership. That's why I say I need the lifestyle and the skill. You couldn't pay me enough.
Yep.
Those things are important. I think that us as a people, we got so used to asking.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like women. I was just thinking this the other day. It's just like women. If we stop fucking, men will change.
Mm-hmm.
They'll fight,
Right. Yeah.
but but if we keep fucking, if there's some women out there that keep fucking broke
Mm-hmm.
guys, men will continue to be broke because
They don't have to do anything. You're
they're
still gonna be there. You're still going to give me what I want, and I don't have to try.
Yeah. Because women too, like they'll seek validation from being chosen by a man, regardless of race necessarily. Just getting their thinking that their value is tied to proximity to a man. That's another poison that the patriarchy has put in there, and that's why women fight amongst themselves instead of knowing that just existing is enough. Just existing makes you already this untouchable goddess that
Yes, you feeding into yourself, you going to this man so that the man makes you feel special and he's saying things to you that you like to hear. Speak that to yourself,
mm-hmm,
empower yourself, understand how much of a queen and a goddess that you are, no matter what your race is, because women is the substantial being to make this world go round. I feel like
mm-hmm,
we have been um, completely, like when they say go left, it's actually going right. And when they say like the man is the ruler of the world, and honestly, back in the day, women was running the
mm-hmm.
shit. Even in the animal kingdom, it's the lioness who's going out hunting.
Yep.
And bringing back the food back at home. They have the saying now where it's like, what do you bring to the table? I am the table. I'm the one who gave you the idea to go create the table so you can go out to work to build it.
Mm-hmm.
You bring that table home. This is going to be the table for you to eat on, that I'm preparing to give you the nutrients. And we're at the table and we're brainstorming on how you're going to continue creating my legacy, my foundation, and my queendom.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
did
Honestly,
I
I
cut
mean,
out or did
yes.
everyone? I was the only one that cut out.
Just you.
It
We
brought
just
me
kind of
back.
kept going.
No, but it kicked me. I didn't die.
It
kicked me
kicked
and it
you.
brought me back.
Geez.
That's crazy. I was sitting here like waiting, like scarfing down I love pull and peel. This is my shit. Like Twizzler, it has to be pull and peel. But yeah, I'm like just waiting. Like, okay, I'm back now. Okay, and then y'all were talking like it was just me. So it was me. But yeah, fucking I always tell people, it's gotta be, it can't be 50-50. If 92% of Black women can support Kamala Harris and band together, 92% of Black women need to, you get what I'm saying? Need to put their fucking foot down, make them step up, make them see their worth, not out of mean, not out of being an asshole, just really like put a standard and put a boundary, right? Same thing with, the submissives, same thing with our Black kings, same thing with each other. We really need to band together. It's so silly, and it's proven though. It's proven. Fucking, you know how New Orleans was built. I'll tell you how New Orleans was built. So New Orleans was just, this mud, right? And they brought all these men and were like, build a town. I'm just gonna like simplify the story. They were like, build a town. And the men for years didn't build a town because there was no women, there was no pussy, there was nothing there. It was just them.
To motivate too,
Yeah, nothing to motivate them. So what did they do? They went and they put out all these things in the Americas. Listen, if you're looking for a husband, we'll pair you with a husband. And they started bringing women in. And well, the first round didn't go so well because they just raped them to death. So the women started running away, and the men fucking they fucked them to death. So they were like, okay, we gotta do this different. So they now also you can't get anyone from America to come because they heard like you fuck the women to death. Like what the fuck? So they go, and this is how New Orleans is really French and things like that. So they put it out in France, and they were like, hey, come to Americas. We'll put your women with husbands and blah blah. But then they had them under lock and key. They brought women over in boats. The youngest being like 11, unfortunately, but they brought women over in boats. But nuns and all types of people like locked them down. So the men couldn't get to these women unless they provided. So basically, unless it was like, do you have a home? Do you have a job for this woman to come home to? So now what do men do? Oh, let me hurry up and build houses and stores and industry and railroads and blah, blah, because they won't give me a wife. Like all this pussy locked up in all these cathedrals and shit, and I gotta have something for them to allow me to pick out a wife or whatever. Now all of a sudden, poof, New Orleans is built. Also, the rumors of vampires because of how they kept the women. But anyway, New Orleans is built. So I really think like just like any other man, just like our submissives, just like anything, we gotta put that standard, put our foot down, show them what it really is to be pussy fucking free.
Yeah.
And really gatekeep the Black lifestyle, the Black culture. No, you cannot call the bull up for $250. No, you cannot do this. You cannot do that. We really have to band together in BNWO and as QOS and as DOMs in general. We really have to, but as far as Black supremacy goes, we really have to put our foot down on what Black supremacy is, and then you can either get in or get the fuck out.
Absolutely. And
they'll have no choice. They'll have no choice. Because go somewhere else, they're not going to get Black queens. And they really don't want the whitewashed Black queens. Let's be, because when these crackers, even when you see them marry Black women, they don't get a fucking whitewash. They don't get a Lala. These motherfuckers get a Serena Williams. They get a sister, don't they? They get an Eve from North Philly.
Okay,
you get what I'm saying? Like when these rich crackers, when they want a sister, or they go straight to Africa.
Go straight to Africa, yeah.
They get a South African or Kenyan.
Yeah.
They don't want white. They don't want Starbucks Black girl. They want a sister for real. So all that gatekeep our queens, gatekeep our kings, because we want it all. We want it all, and then when you're gone, we want to take the rest. Like for real. But we gotta 92% that shit.
Was there something you wanted to say, Madam Indigo?
No, it's saying all of that, it belongs to us anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's just a restoration of a natural order is literally what I say all the time. And that's definitely a beautiful place, I think, to like wrap it up. But I definitely, if either of you have, a final thought, I'd love to, open it up to you.
I would say, can I thank you?
Oh,
And thank you for having us on here and giving us our platform for us to speak on what is true and what is valuable being BNWO. It has nothing to do with these terminologies, but it has everything to do with your mentality and how you want to change generations, because this right now, what we're doing, BNWO, is changing the world, changing the community, and actually bringing us together to make the world look a better place.
truly.
You know?
It's the influence, I think, that your community needs, uplifting each other, but also the humbling and the educating that the submissives that claim they want to serve also
Mhm.
also require. And thank you for thanking me, because I truly feel like it's a privilege to be able to provide a space. So Saint Sarah, if you have any closing thoughts at all.
Well, I want to thank Madam Indigo for coming up here. And, there needs to be, because I'm telling you, I represent BNWO, and, I don't like to be in front of the camera too much,
Yeah, you're
right?
very camera shy.
Just personally, when I have to be. But for this queen to come up to be a face of BNWO too. So thank you, Madam
Yes,
Indigo. Because I know that
truly.
BNWO has its ups and downs, and people come at us sideways. Even our own people come at us sideways. But she came up here. She was like, she was like, "I'll do it." And she's so articulate, so beautiful, a perfect representation of what we are. And thank you for being with me here. And
It's an honor to be here, and it needs to be spoken up. It needs to be acknowledged, and there needs to be representations of Black women, all aspects, but most importantly, that Black woman needs to know how how valuable she is, how much of a luxury experience for someone for these other races to be able to walk in our threshold.
Mm-hmm. It's a privilege to have any proximity, and I love that you both lead with that energy, that you know that, and you know how powerful you are, and what a privilege it is, to be in your presence at all, to learn from you, to be, to serve you. And I'm so grateful to both of you, truly, for sharing your perspectives and, having these conversations, because I think that it really can be such a positive influence for a lot of people, that, some people that maybe don't know that they want to learn, and some that do, and they don't know where to go. So, I'm definitely going to make sure to plug all your sites, everything, so everybody can find you. But if you want to just mention, again, where everyone can find you, what your main place is that you like your submissives to come to, so that these idiots can take their proper place. I know the blacknewworldorder.com, 100%. But this has just been such an amazing conversation. I'm just so grateful to both of you, and um, you know,
This is needed, Anaconda. Thanks.
yeah, I know it is. These conversations have to happen, and I don't care that a lot of these white women out here think that it's fine to just be a kink dispenser, and that's where they can begin and end with their role, QoS or otherwise. That is not where it ends. Our world now is so infiltrated with social media, with online interactions, that we can't act like you can just put it in a box somewhere and walk away from it and just go back to quote unquote daily life, normal life. It's ridiculous. Be better, do more. So again, thank you both so much. I really hope to have more conversations with you both on the podcast in the future. And I hope you both have a wonderful day, and everybody else stay tuned, and, take your proper place, white bitches. You already know that's where you want to be, is on your fucking knees. Thank you, queens.